Hey everybody, welcome to another virtual happy hour on Thursdays. I'm Greg Avola, founder of Untap. Thank you so much for being with us. We're really excited to have you on. We have an amazing show and amazing guest today. Before we get into that though, I want to talk a little bit about our virtual festival. You may have heard about it. We've been talking about it for almost 2 weeks now. We are officially sold out of our Drinking Socially package, which is really exciting because we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be trying some amazing beers from all over the country. But we still have our stay-at-home package available. That's going to give you access to live stream that we're going to have for 2 sessions to also see a lot of crazy things that we're doing at the festival. So it's going to be awesome. We're also going to have a donation of that ticket to help our restaurant fund, Restaurant Strong from Sam Adams. So it'll be really cool. So check us out, untap.com/virtual festivals. Find all the information about the stay-at-home package. And we're super excited, everyone listening out there that's bought their ticket, and really hope to see you and excited on June 13th and 14th. So should be awesome. So without any big introduction, I want to bring up Andrew Burman to the stage. Andrew is one of the co-founders of Other Half Brewing in New York City and Brooklyn. Andrew, thanks for being part of the show.
Of course, great to see you.
Awesome. I lived in New York for about six years in the past, and always stuck around Other Half. If you know anything about beer, you probably know a little bit about them. So, Andrew, why don't we just, before we get started here in terms of getting your background here, the most important thing with any virtual happy hour is obviously the beverage or the beer of choice. Now, we got a new feature of the virtual happy hour today. We have beer cam. Look at this. We got a view going down into the beer. We got amazing stuff here. We're getting really technical here, so it's pretty awesome. But Andrew, what are you drinking right now in your can?
So I'm drinking our new Poetry Snaps. Is a rice lager we came out with last week. We don't come out with lagers very much, but it's one of our fan and mostly brewery favorites. And I didn't have anything else in my fridge because we're sort of on lockdown, so I didn't think it right to run out. And in my neighborhood, the drink of choice is, I think, Corona Light. So I didn't know if that was correct to bring on the show.
Exactly right. There you go. Well, I'm drinking. This is the Other Half Citra Daydream Double Dry Hopped. We talked before about this particular beer being one of the highest rated beers in Untapped. I've never had it before, so I'm really excited about trying this. So for you out there, you crack open your beer. Make sure you check into your beer on Untapped right now. Make sure you tag in your location at Untapped at Home, which is a great spot to say all you're safe for all your friends out there. Also get a great opportunity to earn our badge that we have right now, which is available at Untapped at Home for checking in. So we really appreciate it. And look at that. It's a beautiful Teku glass. Get a little sniff there.
The original Teku glass. The original.
I got the long time ago there. Yeah. So cheers, everybody. Raise your glass, everybody. And we appreciate you guys checking us out, and enjoy your beverage. Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to have you on, Andrew. We've known each other for a very long time, and opportunity to kind of talk all things Other Half here. So before we get into that, maybe give us a little history on how you got started with Other Half, your background, and how it all getting together.
Yeah, so it's so Other Half was started by three guys, Matt Monahan, Sam Richardson, and myself. Matt and I knew each other from being chefs, like 15 years ago now. And cooked for about 4 or 5 years together, knew that we wanted to do something together. And he was always home brewing, and eventually volunteered for a job at Greenpoint Beer Works, which is where a lot of New York brewers actually train with Sam Richardson. Sam eventually somehow liked Matt and took him under his wing. They did a lot together. And Matt and I were pretty excited about getting something started, and Sam sort of, was like interested as well, and we're like, wait, this guy's a better brewer than we are and smarter, so we should really get him involved. We did a couple of pop-up dinners together where Sam did the beer, Matt and I did the cooking, and they really worked well. People were really excited, and we were just dumb enough to think it would work, and here we are.
You guys started back in 2014, is that correct?
Yeah, we started in about 2012 in reality, of like getting everything ready, fundraising, looking for spaces, building out, things like that. So we were in midst of about to sign for a space, and then Hurricane Sandy hit, and that pushed us back a little bit. And then, building in New York City is a crazy thing, so it took forever anyway.
Yeah, one of the unique experiences, obviously you've grown your brewery in New York significantly over the years. When I first visited you guys down there, right off the F train. So if you're from New York, you know the F train there. I remember walking down to your brewery, and you guys are right on the end next to McDonald's, right on the end on there. It's kind of a unique experience where you kind of see all the I think it's 287 or 270 interstate right on top of you guys as you're going over. And very small place when I first came there, but you've definitely expanded your brewery since then. Kind of walk us through how that happened and where you guys saw that expansion going.
So if anybody knows Other Half from a while ago, we did have a tap room that was the size of a closet.
Very tiny.
It was Anthony Finley, who started all this day one. Even before day one, he was running the bar. We were everybody was doing bar shifts, and we had this small little like quaint experience underneath the BQE across the street from a McDonald's. It took us about the space next door we got about two and a half years into the business, and then it took us about 2 years to get open. So we've had that tap room open. It will be 2 years in August this upcoming.
That's awesome.
But which is better and nice, and we've expanded to Rochester, and it's a different experience now, but it's sort of still very Brooklyn-y. Nowhere else can you go to a brewery and walk by a scrap metal yard at McDonald's and then be like, oh, this is some good beer here.
Yeah, it's a very unique experience. I highly recommend, obviously, when COVID lifts, you definitely check it out in New York. It's a great spot to visit. We got some fans, obviously, that are chiming in here that obviously are showing some praise. Keith said Other Half in Brooklyn was amazing. Looking forward to making a beer run to their Rochester location soon. A bit of a shorter drive from Columbus, Ohio. So that's a pretty amazing thing. Thanks, Keith, for talking about that. And Ryan also said, great spot. Can't wait to visit the upstate location. Originally from Lake George region. We appreciate all the comments there on there. I have not been up to Rochester yet. I'm super excited about the new area up there. Obviously, you're keeping it New York related. You're in Brooklyn and Rochester. What was that the choice you guys want to go to for your next stop?
It was actually interesting story. We loved our upstate crowd. We're doing mobile can sales through Syracuse, Albany, Buffalo, Rochester, and with great partners. Mike Schatzel runs Thin Man and some places up there, Tap and Mallet, Now and Later, great places. And we were trying to figure out, we wanted to expand upstate. We wanted to be a New York brewery focused, and we kept looking, and we sort of figured that Rochester area was a little bit was sort of in between everything, and it was sort of made sense for us. And then we were looking at like actually bars to do, and we were looking for bars, and actually a reporter asked us, Will Cleveland from the Rochester Chronicle, Democratic Chronicle, got an interview with my partner Matt and was like, there's some rumors going around that you bought this old brewery outside of Rochester. And we're sitting there, we're like, what is he talking about? Like, well, I don't understand this. And there's like, yeah, there's a lot of chatter on Facebook and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, great. And then like right after the conversation, we're texting the broker, like, what is this place? He's like, oh, I thought it was too far outside the city. You wouldn't like it. And we're like, what are you kidding me? This is all we want. Like, it's a tap room and a bar and a brewery, like ready to go. So, it was ready to go, but we did what we do at Other Half, and it took us another 12 months to open. But 11 months from the day the keys got turned over for us to open. But we have a great team up there, and it's a little different, but a little similar. And it's we love it, and I love going up there. I haven't been up in 3 months since this happened, but we were going up every 3 weeks or so to meet with the team and go forward with things. But it's great.
So you got your lead from a reporter. So that's how you got your story there in terms of getting your location up there.
Exactly.
I think, if anyone knows anything about Other Half, it's always about the hazy IPAs and the juiciness that you guys have been able to kind of accomplish so well, especially the range of the beers you guys have been able to do. Was it always the intention when you guys started Other Half to delve into the hazy IPA craze? Because when you guys were first starting, it really wasn't the thing yet. So how did that kind of happen?
When we opened, it was a laundry list of beers, everything from bread IPAs to Saisons to, English old bitters and ESBs and, everything you can imagine. We're like, we're a brewery. We do fun stuff. And Sam is incredibly creative and a great brewer. And we were just experimenting, doing fun stuff. And then we sort of kept doing IPAs and then blending other things in. And the IPAs kept selling out really fast. We're like, we should probably just keep making more and more of these. And then it stuck. I mean, there are still people who remember, these beers called like Lambic 86 or Veldryden Love, which are these like Belgian. Sam was a cyclocross rider, so he uses a lot of Belgian cyclocross terms as beer names. So we had a bunch of we had a bunch of beers like that, and they were great, but like they just didn't sell that well. And then we started doing IPAs, and now we do 80% IPAs, double IPAs, 60% double IPAs and stuff. So it's what we became known for. But it was definitely an evolution.
Yeah, obviously it sets you guys apart because the quality of the beer you're making is outstanding. We always joke internally, when you guys joined our Untapped business platform a couple of years ago, we had just started our 7-city tour, which basically was this event that we put on, and I traveled to 7 cities.
Yeah, when is that happening again? That was like the best. That was the best like Tuesday we ever had. When are they coming back?
The funny part about that is, we had signed, you guys had signed up like halfway through the contest, and the idea of this 7-city tour was, in the month of March, about 2 years ago, the highest checked in verified venue would be the places that we would go. So New York, obviously, is a very big bar area. So they were obviously number one on our list. And, there were no competition. Other half had tons and tons of check-ins, only a half a month being in this competition, and it still rained. So I remember contacting your team and said, hey, we'd love to do an event on Tuesday. And then I don't think you guys would know what we were expecting. We didn't really know what to expect. And I got an email from your team afterwards, like, that's like the best Tuesday we ever had. Ever at other half. So it was great to see the people coming out for those things.
We were definitely not prepared for it because it started off slow, and then all of a sudden, like, where are these people coming from?
Yeah. It was a crazy event.
I've been trying to partner with you ever since. You don't let me, so it's all right.
Well, the crazy thing about that is that we used to do it in 7 days in 7 cities. That was the first time we did it, and other half was the last event in New York. I remember driving home with an Uber and like just crashing out on the way home with the Uber because it was so many days. And next year we did it 7 cities in 10 days, give it a little more wiggle room, but it still doesn't do a whole lot in terms of that. But obviously with COVID and stuff, all that's been put on shelves here. We have a few more shout outs that are coming up in the chat here. One from Evan, this other half is the best, moving back to Connecticut. All right. From Illinois, and can't wait to get back to the Brooklyn tap room. Great little spot there, Evan. I know you're going to enjoy that when you're there. Bob also says, love other half. I'm an original customer from your first release. No line. How was the original second anniversary developed?
So the second anniversary and the third, fourth, whatever anniversary beers was, Sam, Bob, it's that old man crew. All they do is it's him and 3 other guys. All they do is harass me all day. So I've been running the can sales pretty much since the get go, and with great help from my team, over the years. But these guys are the ones that that built our business. Bob has been an incredible. Bob and the old guys, as I like to call them, because they're all retirees. I think Bob isn't retired, but Mark is his like best friend, and they like meet at other half. And the anniversary beers were just something that Sam came up with, where he wanted to do something that was special and use some hops that were sort of like the hop of the year. And so 1 year he focused on Mosaic or Citra or Galaxy, or like right now he's super into Motueka, super into some of the other hop products that we've been using. So there's just it's just sort of like the one beer where you can go all out,
Anniversary. So
yeah,
that's important.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, let's shift gears a little bit to the Altogether Beer Project. I know that's something that's very close to other half, and definitely a lot of brewers across the United States have gone through this program. Tell us a little bit how this started and what the reception is right now from the brewers that have got your recipe and are making those beers.
Altogether was sort of Sam and I were talking. Matt, Sam, and I have and my brother is actually our CFO. All have a group meeting twice a week, and we were just shooting the shit about how we wanted to do something and do a collab, and Sam really wanted to do something with the guys in Italy that were really affected by it, and we sort of were rapping about it. We're like, let's do something even bigger. Let's try to do something. Mm-hmm. We pitched it to our team at Stout Collective. We pitched it to the guys who at Craft Beak who do our website, and they were like, yo, we're on board. And then my litmus test of I don't know, Jared is our taproom manager, who's Beer with Flavor, super famous. I don't know if you know him, but he was like, this is a great idea, we should do it. And it sort of just took off, and we're at 800 and some breweries right now, and it's been really cool, and it's been really inspiring to see other people use our recipe, riff on our recipe, Paul from Mortalis, I was talking to, I was like, hey man, can you do this to one of the first 50 brewers? I'm like, hey, do you mind doing this? And he's like, no, of course. He's like, I'll do it. And I was like, but you need to put marshmallows in it. And so he put marshmallows and like 30 other fruit in it, and it's like,
that's awesome.
It's fun, and I think we're lucky, and we're happy that we were able to use our sort of brand in a positive way, and in a time where people really need something to kind of look for. It's been amazing. You guys created a badge, which we're incredibly grateful for. And it's fun to see people collecting them and make them like sort of Pokemon style. And some people, I know, a friend of mine, Scott Peluso, who is Lorenzo the Beer Cat. He is I think he has like 60 or 80 or 100 of them. I don't even know, but every day it's speaking picture. And we emailed everyone to say, please send us the beer. And Jared has been taking pictures of them in the tap room, and
that's awesome.
We're putting together some Instagrams and things like that to really thank people. But it's been, everybody from you guys helping out, and the designers and the websites and the actual brewers. It's been an incredible process.
It reminds me a little bit of the Sierra Nevada Resilience, that beer they did for the fires a little while ago. You guys have taken that into a new light where, one of the things I love so much about Other Half is the branding, the way that it kind of looks and feels. I mean, you can see this amazing can here. I mean, this is not child's play here. This is a great branding opportunity. And I think that adding the ability for people that want to brew this beer on their own and giving them an opportunity to add their own flavor to the side of a can is really cool. There's a brewery here in town called Urban Lodge that did their own individual one in Connecticut here. And there are a lot of breweries that have done them as well, but it's really good to give them an opportunity to get their own branding on it, because it gives them an opportunity to sell these things. It's really, really cool. So if you haven't tried an Altogether beer, you can literally search Altogether on Untappd and find all the variants. But I believe that on the altogether.beer website, there is a list of all the breweries and the release dates. So you can check out where are the ones that are around for you. And
release date and a map. Sorry to cut you off. A release date, a map. And it made, we're like, and it's made it much easier for people to find it. And we actually are all 50 states now.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty, there's one close to everybody.
Yeah, even overseas internationally as well. I saw a few of them are done as well. So yeah, definitely check that out and grab it. Obviously, you can earn the badge on Untappd by checking any beer from the Altogether series. But it's really cool to see that kind of growth there, and a great opportunity to give back. Because I know that obviously this is a charity component, which we haven't really talked about as well. But all the proceeds from the beers go to a charity. Is that correct?
Yep. And so we've been partnering with some different. We've actually done it 4 times. So we did a regular version, 2 regular versions in Rochester and New York, 1 each, and then we did a double dry hop version, and then we did a high density hop charge, our HDHD treatment up in Rochester, which should be coming out. I think was canned today. I never can trust our brew schedules, but it's supposed to be done today, and today it was supposed to be canned up, so we should be able to release it. So it's been fun, and we've been trying to partner with local things, and that was the biggest problem. Like, sort of, we wanted people to help, whether it helped your own brewery or helped like a greater cause. It didn't matter to us. We wanted to be local, which is what breweries should be. Exactly,
especially this time of need with COVID. It's they need our support. Local breweries need to be able to buy this product, and also helping them, but helping a charity. Everyone that I've talked with supports a local charity in Connecticut. There was a Connecticut union that they supported for restaurant workers. So it was really great to see a lot of the things that they were doing. In terms of that situation with your breweries, you talked about your beer to go sales. Now, what are you guys doing exactly in this area in this COVID now with tap room shut down? Is it beer to go delivery? What is your kind of flavor you guys are trying to do?
Man, it is like, this was the hardest part. This is what caused me to have a bald spot in the back of my head. Just how to get beer into people's hands safely and easily, and while sort of supporting that community that we've fostered this entire time. So we went directly to curbside pickup. We went to home delivery. We're pushing a little bit more out into distro. So restaurants and bars that stayed open through this, that we were able to support with getting some cans to, and they're delivering in the city. We went to bike messengers, individual deliveries, whatever it took to.
Bike messengers, that must be interesting in New York.
Yeah.
From a can of beer on the back of your bike.
Yep, exactly. It's heavy, but the guys do it. It's been really amazing how to transform it, and like I can't be more thankful to my team. From the brew staff who who came up with the idea. We wanted to limit, seeing each other a little bit, and so they volunteered to go overnight. The packaging guys who start at 5 a.m. and go to 12, and then the tap room guys come in at like 11 and then start selling the beer. So it's been an incredible like sort of team and army that came up with these things. Like our head brewer came up with a lot of them, our packaging guys, and it's just been really great to see, have like something to look forward to. And that's what's like the hardest part about this is it is sort of a crisis. It is a crisis completely, but it really brought our team together and solidified how we are as a community, and not only internally but externally, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of people in the chat now that are kind of saying some shout outs to their favorite altogether version. For example, Chris Ross said Trillium version was amazing. Just had it a few days ago. Thanks, Chris, for listening. Really appreciate it. Bob also said the London Island altogether in South Jersey has a great version. I've never heard of them. That's pretty cool. Laura H said tried the altogether here in Denver. Fantastic recipe. So appreciate that, Laura. Thanks for your kind words. We also won from Louis Sosa. Says nice urban roots brewing and smokehouse.
Always a shout out to Louis. Always a shout out to Louis.
Yeah,
he was DMing me earlier, excited for this. So I'm glad that he's here.
There you go, right on the screen there, Louis. Thanks very much for watching. We appreciate it. Obviously, if you have a question, by the way, for Andrew, just make sure you wrap it in the chat here. We'll have some time at the end. So guys, in Q&A, as we get through some of these questions here, so make sure you put that in there. Speaking of questions, let's go to one from Kevin King, which asks, Andrew, is there a style of beer that you've not made yet that you want to try? Put you on the spot here.
Yeah. What would we like to make? I think I think what we love to do is some of the stuff that we are doing up in Rochester, which is some of the saisons and some of the easier, lighter beers. But we've tried a lot of different beers. I think I'd actually like to go back and fix some of the ones that we didn't do very well, more than the ones looking forward. We had some Brett IPAs that I think that could have been amazing and didn't. We have an open firm sort of project up in Rochester that we started last 2019 2020 winter. And the guys, Felipe Higgins, our head brewer up there, has been amazing, and he did about I think 6 or 8 of them, and they all are fermenting great. And hopefully we'll get some of those out. And that's an interesting thing that people would say that we want to do, but we haven't really announced that we're doing it yet. Hopefully they turn out well and we can release them. Nice. But I don't know. I don't know what style. I mean, we make all these crazy styles. We make crunchies and we make, low ABV beers and triples. And I think just, the lagers we're doing are great. I'm super happy with what we are doing and how we're evolving. If we could, I would tell Sam, I was like, remember that terrible beer we made back then? Can we redo that?
Yeah. Crazy. Another question we have from Beers by Church here says, did you guys have to halt brewing at any point during March during the shutdown, or have you been able to kind of continue to mash in, whether you're in Brooklyn or Rochester?
Well, we've been continued. So day one when this happened, I was, and our team was I was like, if this is going to break us and this is going to be the reason we fall, this is going to be the reason we fall, but it's not going to be because we don't have any beer. So I was like, I want every fermenter full. I want, everything that we can possibly put out, because we're going to fail if we stop, because then we're not going to have any beer to sell. But I wanted to make sure we had full fermenters, and if they did we had plans. If they did a full shutdown and no one could leave their house for 2 weeks, we had plans. And if they did a shutdown for a month, we had plans. If they didn't do a shutdown, or they did the only the important workers to be going to work, that we had a plan. And so we did not ever stop. We missed a couple mashes on the first couple weeks, just because getting used to the new schedules and things like that. But we've always kept going forward. And that was really important to me and my partners and to the team, is that we wanted to go into this positively and try to and be prepared to do as best we can in the environment in which we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've known Other Half in the past, that can sales is a huge part of what you guys done. I assume it's kind of translated pretty well into your beer to go and curbside. Is that kind of easily transitioned, or was it more of a wait and see kind of approach from the consumer side?
It wasn't that we needed to do it as fast as possible. We saw the need for it. It took us a couple of days to get the systems going. It actually was our POS system didn't have the capability right at the beginning. So it switched over, we got it going, and it's been working well. The POS did go down today, which was annoying, but we did the best we could. And I think with the circumstances, and we can keep going that way.
Awesome. Another question from our friend Bob here is, he asked you, how do you pick your collaborations? Now, this is a really important question because I know, being a New Yorker for so long, that you guys do a lot of collaborations. You guys do more collaborations than I've ever even seen from any brewery. Where do you guys pick it? Because I remember specifically there are times you guys gone over to Japan, you guys done all over the place. So what's that process like in collaborating with other breweries?
I think the collaborations are a very key part of our job, our work, and how we've gotten ourselves out. I think the biggest part is that we want to have, when we do a collab, something that either we don't know about. We collabed with a Broadway show, the Alanis Morissette show that we called the Jagged Little Pills, and we collabed with them because it was something cool and it was outside of our norm. We love doing things that are outside of what we do. Sam's good friends have a bike shop, and we collab with them for an opening, and we did just anything that we think that is beyond our brand, or sort of leverages both brands and pushes them up. We are into, and that's usually a lot of the decisions we do. Right now it's hard wading through we probably do, there's 30 or 40 collabs that we do all the time, whether it's Wakefield or Trillium or Vale or Monkish. We did a Monkish release last week, and there's probably one of those a month. And then fitting everybody else in around that is the hardest part, especially with the two festivals we have.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's my next point too. Obviously, with your Pastry Town, which I believe was the last kind of big festival that happened before this whole thing got shot down.
Mm-hmm.
That's something interesting. A lot of breweries, have this kind of vision of what they want to do. Festivals sometimes get in there. How did the Pastry Town thing all start, and what was your vision for that? I know you guys do Green Street as well, but how did Pastry Town go?
Yeah, Green City was our first IPA festival, and we're like, "Yo, this was fun. This was great. It worked well." We had a great event planner, Samantha Sire, who's been event production. It does amazing work for us, and we were sort of rapping. We're like, "Hey, we should do another one. We're like, there's another style of beer. We want to do like something that was not based on IPA." And I think it was like September or October, and we're like, I came in one of our group meetings, like, "Guys, do you want to do this or not?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I'm like, "All right." And so we set it up and we did it, and it was a great success. Pastry Town, it actually, if you Google Pastry Town, you come up with this like 1920s cartoon, which is like this cakes and cupcakes and cakes and all these pastries like floating around in chocolate rivers and stuff. And that was sort of the inspiration for us. We wanted to do anything that had an adjunct, and did just something fun. And so we took that as inspiration across the board, from our labels to our logos to the festival itself. And when you were there, you could feel it. This year evolved a little bit. It was Pastry Town in space, so it was a little bit more fun. And so we sort of have a theme for it. And hopefully Green City, this year we're just actually starting to plan for something like you guys are doing, like a virtual fest in hopefully August. But this is very, very preliminary stuff. But I want to make sure that the guys who are listening in, they get the scoop.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, I mean, we are the kind of, everyone's venturing into this virtual festival kind of mentality, and GABF was announced earlier last week that they're going virtual, and obviously we're going virtual on the 13th and 14th. Being part of this, I'm sure you're part of your virtual kind of team and stuff like that. It's a unique situation. I think that the beer festival, in a sense, is such a person-to-person experience. How can you create that kind of in-life festival experience on the web? And it's been a challenge, but I think we've got some good ideas that we're ready to kind of share on the 13th and 14th. But I think everyone's kind of going toward this model now. I don't know if there are many events that are going to happen this year that are going to be big enough to support this. So it's interesting to see what people do.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about it. I think you and us are very much involved with community. That's the core of what we all do, and how to bring a community into a sort of a virtual sort of very sterile environment, which is what we're having trouble with. We have some really great ideas how to bring some of the really fun things that we were doing, whether that's pastries or the wrestling or the merch or the experience, into you know, a sort of individual or small group gathering, sort of like you guys. But we'll see. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, one of our biggest challenges, is just getting beer to people in this time of need. I mean, we're finding partners to work with to deliver. The beer is tough, and then on top of that, at a typical festival, you kind of get a 2-ounce pour and work your way around. Now you're going to get 11 tall cans, and you're going to have to be able to do this effectively without falling over. So
yeah.
being able to kind of go through that process and have people explain something is really interesting on that front too. So some more questions we got here from in the chat here. Again, if you want to ask Andrew a question, make sure you use the chat, and we'll try to get that answered. From Christopher Ross, what is your dream collaboration you love to do in the future, and what type of beer? I know another loaded question here that puts you on the spot, but what can you share?
I think a dream collaboration, that's a great question from Chris. I mean, I think some of the dream collaborations that we're doing would be to do things beyond beer, so like altogether. I couldn't have dreamed something better than that. Something that will use other half or whatever to do something greater for the beer community. I think that's where I would love to do something. Whether that's with someone's with a cause that's really important to us, or a group of people that's really important to us. I think that's one of the things. But that aside, I'd love to do some really cool collabs with some of the winemakers up in the Finger Lakes regions, in near Bloomfield, our Bloomfield location. I'd love to do some collabs that are outside of beer, and do I'd love to collab with Dominic Ansel and make a cronut beer. That's where I
that would be
as
pretty
a chef,
epic.
As a chef, I would love to do something where it's outside the realm and brings people to know, we have we have 200 and some people, 300 people, I don't know, listening in, but there's millions of people that go to these pastry shops and know these things, and letting them know that there's beer that can meet these requirements that are these wants that people have. I think it'd be really cool.
I think an interesting point that you brought up too with the food aspect. I think there's a whole lot of uncharted territory for beer and food. I mean, you obviously see it at GABF. They have a full-on event. You can get paired food and beer together. Obviously, with your background in the culinary area, I can only imagine that there are things in your brain that you're cooking up daily, for lack of a better word, on things when it comes to beer. And it's interesting to see how that comes together. We have a shout out from Rick here. Said, been loving you guys since Tap Takeover at Tap and Mallet after the snowstorm. Ma is off the hook, but cheers with the stacks on stacks, DDH and curly fries. Take you. So thank you very much, Rick, for pointing that there. Yeah. So
these are the guys that started it up safe for us. There was this mythical can release that we had at Tap and Mallet, this small bar up in Rochester, where it might have been 32 degrees exactly. It started snowing. And none of us were prepared for this because it was April, so it was really, and then all of a sudden it went to snow, and it was me and my brother and Dennis and a couple other guys we work with, and we were cutting rain jackets out of trash bags, and it was the longest day. It's the only day I've ever hated Sam Richardson, because there was 5 of us running registers outside. We were literally under the table making the iPads work because they were so cold and wet, and Sam's sitting at the doorway sipping a cup of coffee, like, "You guys okay?" I'm like, "I hate you." That was one of the worst. But I relaxed. I took it easy, and it was good.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for being part of the show. Really appreciate your insights here. As a huge fan of Other Half I Am, I wish you guys the best in terms of all the things you're going to do with post-COVID, and definitely appreciate that you guys are looking for the virtual aspect on your festival coming up. So really appreciate you there. For anything you want to share with the community right now in terms of anything that you guys are doing that you're going to need call outs from anything of that nature?
I'm just super excited about all the guys who were here, supporting Other Half and Untapped. I can't, every day I'm thankful for you guys supporting us. Be ready for another Freaky Friday coming soon. Be ready for some really great collabs coming. I think just thankful every day. We're at the end of the day, we're thankful. Me, Matt, Sam, our whole company. We couldn't have asked for a better reception of what's going on right now, and the support from, especially in New York, from Buffalo to Rochester down to Long Island. All the way to the Hamptons. I think we'll start sometime getting out there, and everywhere in between. And Greg is a New Yorker for whatever 6-10 years, whatever it was. The Other Half is where it is because of everybody like Greg and John and everybody else, and Scott and Jerez and all these guys who supported us throughout. It's where we've been, and I like it's so funny. Like we every trying to give thanks to these guys. I don't think they understand how much we appreciate it every day, and how much, you know, when we drink a beer and we're like super proud, we're happy to share that with people. We're really happy to share that new, you know, HDHC beer, that new whatever beer, and you know, that Pilsner or rice, something as simple as a rice lager, we're you know, excited to share with, and it's great to feel the you know, the warmth from you guys as well. And
yeah. As a founder myself too, I had the same exact reaction to people that support anything you do. It's really awesome to see that. But Andrew, thank you so much for being part of the show, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Yep. Thank you very much, and appreciate it. Just a shout out to the Department of Sanitation as well. My boy Neil wanted one final shout out. They've been struggling and doing hard all this COVID time, but appreciate it, guys. Thank you everyone for joining.
Cheers to them. Cheers. And everybody else, you know, we want to give you a quick update on what's happening with our Untapped TV segments throughout the week. Some Saturday, 2 days from now, we're going to be talking to Matt Van, the Jolly Scholar Brewery out of Cleveland, Ohio. So make sure you check out that. And then our following Thursday, we're going to be talking to Carla Lauter, who's a beer writer for Maine Today. Excited to get her take on everything that's happening in Maine, especially with the Sunday River Brewing Company situation that's happening up there. So it'll be good to get your insights there. Also, you know, again, if you want to check out our festival, it's going to be happening on June 13th and 14th. Head over to untapped.com/virtual festival for the stay-at-home package. You'll get access to our 2-day live streaming event. Unfortunately, all the drinking socially had been sold out, but you'll still be able to check us out on our live stream, as well as give a donation, because 20% of those ticket sales will go to the Restaurant Strong Foundation by Sam Adams, helping displaced workers from COVID-19. So really appreciate that. And also, if you want to catch up on any episodes we've done in the past, with your first time viewing us, we really appreciate it. You can go to untapped.com/TV, check out all the past shows that we're having. But, you know, we know it's a 35 to 40-minute show. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you need some, you know, some podcast time. Never fret. We got you guys covered. We have a podcast also available for all the audio of this particular video series. You can check that out on Simplecast. Just go to the untapped.com/TV and check out the podcast there, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We appreciate our guest, Andrew from Other Half, for joining us, and all you guys for listening out there. We really appreciate your support. So cheers to you guys, and thanks for watching. Cheers.